Hello from Hyperledger Global Forum in Dublin. I'm joined by Nancy Norris, Senior Policy Advisor at the Government of British Columbia. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning.
Nancy, could you introduce yourself in your role as a Senior Policy Advisor at the Government of British Columbia?
Yes, I can. So I work on a project called the Energy and Mines Digital Trust. So my team is working on, with Hyperledger, Indies, and Aries. We're building a digital trust ecosystem where the government can share information about the sustainability performance of mines and natural gas operators within BC, and then they can share that with potential investors and purchasers of their goods.
And so the problem it's fixing is the traceability of the sustainability and the carbon footprint and the wasted energy at these mine operations.
It's more that British Columbia has really strong climate legislation.
Right.
So we're asking, emitters over a certain threshold have to report to the government. So we are creating a process where they can do that using digital credentials. And then they have that information, which has already been audited by a carbon auditor, and they can share it with multiple different audiences. So they can share it with the regulator, the provincial government, they can share it with global carbon accounting platforms for reputational gains. They can share it with potential investors and potential purchasers who are interested in responsibly sourced products.
And why was it important to use Hyperledger technology to address this now with new tech? Because I presume there was other ways of tracing this before this technology, so why now?
Well, BC is very strong in digital trust projects, but to date, they've been focused on individual identity. This is at the organizational level. And so what we're doing is allowing operators to have the opportunity to share their information, which they already collect, with a broader audience, and doing it in a way that's more trusted and more transparent.
And so how does it work? How did you get these operators to come to the party? How did they trust the process of the project? I'd love to share that with our audience.
Yeah, it's an interesting project because there's the whole technological side, but then there's the ecosystem building. So we have been working with a number of different partners like PwC, who's already a carbon auditor within British Columbia, a number of mining operations, Copper Mountain Mine and Teck Mines. And we're going to be expanding to natural gas operator as well. And then the verifier of the credential at the moment is the provincial government, the Climate Action Secretariat, which these operators would already be submitting these information to, but they're doing it using digital credentials in our pilot.
And so you're in pilot stage. What does the 2022-23 look like? How does the rollout going? When do you think it'll be fully operational?
Well, at the moment, each of our, they're in the triangle of the shared information. Each of the operators has a digital wallet. The next step will be integrating that into their database systems.
Great. And the overarching benefits to this, if you could just share the key benefit that you see with our audience?
There's a number of benefits. I think the first is business efficiencies for these companies, because sustainability reporting is becoming more and more of a factor for businesses, especially natural resource extractive industries. And the BC economy, we have a lot of natural resources. So being able to have these operators share this information, it provides efficiencies for them that they would, because they're already sharing it with the government, now they can share it with carbon accounting, like voluntary carbon accounting platforms. They can share it with potential investors. They can share it with potential purchasers.
Of course, and in the kind of world of increased regulation and ESG regulations is extremely important. We've actually had a number of different sustainability and traceability projects too, one on tracing plastics, one on food safety too, so it's amazing. So, a couple of final questions really. If there was one thing you wanted to share with the audience, the recipe for success, bringing the operators, bringing them together, what's one reason that you think that the project so far has been a success? What people can learn from this?
I think it's a matter of educating folks about the power of the technology and then also the benefits to them. So each of the specific people or groups within the ecosystem, so government, private sector, NGOs, they all have, there's benefits to each of them for participating, and being able to articulate those clearly makes a big difference.
Brilliant. Look, my final question, Nancy, here we are in Dublin, a fantastic event getting everyone together from the Hyperledger open source community. I'd like you to share with our audience, if there's one particular value that you've got that you'd share for being part of the Hyperledger community, what is that?
I think that as a government, being a part of the open source community makes a lot of sense because it's all about finding the best solution for that particular problem and working collectively for the public good.
Brilliant. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for sharing your insights. The very best of luck with your project and enjoy the rest of your time in Dublin. Thank you.
Thanks.